What's up guys, Jez here from Whiskefy and welcome to another episode of WhiskefyTV, your weekly whiskey TV show where I tell you guys about my favourite bourbons to drink. Makes it sound like I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not. I really just like bourbon. Now, as I kind of prefaced on Monday, I'll be going back through and resampling all my stuff that I like to drink at the start, but I was kind of pairing bourbons and like scotches against each other that really kind of shouldn't have been going next to each other. I didn't know why I was doing it. I just really liked the juice, and I was like, I'd bought enough that at that point that I'd start talking about it. Now, this week is what I'm going to call episode 1. Now, on the first episode, I started with one drop, and then I started with another drop, but I'm going to go with number 2 and then kind of flick it back next week. It doesn't make sense now, but it'll make sense in post.
Hey guys, welcome, starting to do it already. Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of WhiskefyTV. It's pretty much just me sitting here. I'm going to try for once a fortnight. We're going for bi-monthly at the moment. Bi-monthly? It's just me sitting here drinking whiskey, telling you guys all about it.
Yes, when I kind of started everything, I was just kind of like talking about it where I didn't really have enough of an idea. Where I was like saying things like, oh, it's sweet and like it's smooth, and like it was just, I was saying things that I didn't really have any idea.
B6, it is also from Kentucky, so for them both to be classified as a bourbon, they have to be made in Kentucky, have a certain amount of mash, and the rest of the fun stuff.
To come, say, 2 years later, when I've got like a little bit more of an idea. I don't really have much of an idea, but I got enough to kind of get me by, and it's like, yeah, we need to fix some of this, because some of these bottles that I did haven't had a second run, and I was like, they deserve a little bit more of a voice. So I'm gonna kick it off with, say, episode 1 or episode 119, because better late than never. We are hitting a bottle of Maker's 46. Now, this was, I guess, on the first episode, but it was the second bottle I did. So, yeah, they definitely deserve that. And we are 5 eps since last spill. I didn't talk about it last week because, yeah, that was that. I have already sampled this 46 as well. So it isn't a neck pour. She's been open for a little bit. I'm not really superstitious about neck pours anyway. I'm like, it's all the same. But, you know, there's people out there that think it is. So that was... What is that? Oh well, it's 46. At least it's not, I don't know, something. So we're going to work with that. This is why we can't have sliced bread. This is exactly... Okay, that's... You can probably see the regret on my face when I over-tipped it. And I was just like, no, definitely not a good time. We're just going to leave it. I don't care. Not my dad's production studio. Nice. Well, we are now 0 episodes since last spill, so thank you for coming. This is why we didn't talk about it last week, because you put bad juju out there.
I'm going to move along to this stuff. Little bit of history on it. I want to say Bill Samuels Jr., which was the son of the founder of Maker's Mark. He decided to come up with his own blend because when his dad died, he didn't really have anything. So he came up with this Maker's 46, which is basically just regular Maker's Mark in the white oak barrels with your 8 staves.
Keep going.
Am I right or no? Oh, okay. You're surprised that I remembered it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's your white staves in there for 9 weeks, and then reserved out as this. So this is typical price point, I've seen it go from like $80 to $90 a bottle compared to your $60 to $70 a bottle. I was going to go high and low contrast for you guys, but just decided to go, I've opened this one the other night, so I want to hook in a little bit of dust on there because I've had it sitting around for a few years. Also, fun fact about this, every single bottle is hand dipped. Watch the workers hand dip this stuff in their Loretto distillery. It's a cool thing to watch.
So, I spent enough time talking smack. We're at 3 minutes. Okay, Maker's 46, it's 94 proof, 47% alcohol by volume. It's not age stated, but it's anywhere between 4 to 6 years old. Now, let me go. The reason why it's anywhere between 4 to 6 years old is because Maker's Mark only kind of run one product. Now, that one product is Maker's Mark. It's that one mash bill of 70% corn, 16% winter wheat, and 14% malted barley. Now, they use new charred American oak casks, but in the 46 case, where they use ex-Maker's Mark barrels, they've dumped it out, and they've inserted 10 French oak staves. Then they're going to rebarrel it for 9 weeks, and then push it out at, I guess, 47%. Cost me $60 Australian dollars, or it's about 35 from Total Wine. I don't remember. I was in the gift shop a few days ago, so I just came back from the States, and I don't remember the price on it. So, but we do okay in Australia. Like, that's good. So, hey, no complaints. Let's kick this sucker off. Okay, so Maker's Mark. In my opinion, it is the most affordable wheated bourbon you can possibly buy on the market. And I want anyone to prove me wrong, because you can't. In Australia, we do extremely well for Beam products. This is a Beam product. Also, like, it's just easy, like, to find as well. Like, everyone's got it, you know how much you're going to pay for it, because they're all about the same price. Now, obviously, there's some sitting there that are like $90 because they paid for it like 14 years ago. They couldn't pay for it 14 years ago, because I'm about to get into that. But like, they bought it ages ago when we were paying $90 a bottle for it. But now, like, we've got some good supply lines, we've got good supply, things rolling in, we're doing okay. $60 all day. Now, if you couldn't tell by my opening statement, I'm a little biased. Because, as I said, I like Beam products, and it's just like, Maker's Mark holds like a special spot. It's good. It's easy to find wheated bourbon. Can't go wrong. I don't have to, like, I don't know, get into a fight with a small child, try and get a bottle of, I don't know, something that's not Weller. No, who cares? Like, upset South Trade or Sazerac. Please don't come find me. I like my Buffalo Trace stuff. It's good. This is why you don't record on your own. Yeah, so if you didn't know, this is, as I said, the normal Maker's Mark. So your 70% corn, 16% winter wheat, and 14% malted barley. But it's had those French oak staves added for 9 weeks to finish the bourbon. Now, this was released in 2010, so not 14 years ago. It was 12 years ago, though. That was close. I was like, hold on, what year are we? And it was the first major line extension since 1953, when Maker's Mark went into production. Now, from a marketing point, and I do love this, and I was listening to a podcast a while ago where Maker's Mark were running these advertising campaigns, and they really kind of went up against Jack Daniels, and they dressed up some bloke as Jasper Newton Daniels, and they had him at the distillery, and they got a heap of photos with him, and they were putting it up in like local ads, and they were like, come down to the distillery and meet Jack Daniels. And it was like, I guess me from like a marketing perspective, I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, good on these guys. Like, they want to play with the big dogs, especially because they weren't that big. The first time they kind of hit major attention was in the first Spider-Man movie. Now, this is like a little bit of I guess, marketing nerd knowledge. They were in the first Spider-Man movie, and that was the first bit of like major advertising for him, like in the 21st century. But yeah, I kind of want to watch the first Spider-Man movie now. But we're at almost 8 minutes. I haven't had a sip yet, so let's kind of hook into it. Actually, I got a bit more. Yeah, this is the first part of their wood finishing series. And I'll kind of circle back. It was Bill Samuels Jr. wanted to leave a legacy, and that's how he kind of came up with the stave profile of 46. But there was also like their cooperage as well. They had like, this was the 46 stave they tried or something. It's all back end blah blah blah. This kind of does feel a lot better than my first video. So let me hook in to this now that the table's kind of dried as well. But it'll leave like this nice bourbony note to the apartment, so it's good.
So yeah, I'd kick this one off with a sniffy sniff. So, yeah. Cool. See, I'm not getting that really alcoholic flavour from just that initial sense, and it, as I said, like, it's just the sweeter side of the alcohols. I handled that one a lot better than what I did that one. That one, so this one starts at the very tip of the tongue, works its way back, but it's not too coarse. So, you know, you're having a couple of those is totally different than having a few of those. But it's very sweet. Like that stuff, it's got the natural oak, and that's what the oaky flavour comes from, because they have to use the white oak barrels, American white oak barrels. But yeah, definitely a lot smoother if you're just going by the glass. Super caramelly. Definitely good if you want to mix it up with a cocktail. Solo is the way to go with bourbons, but I'll show you guys later. I might do a little how-to video. What else can I tell you about this one? This one is actually 47%, so it's a higher proof, excuse me, than what that is, which is really interesting because they've obviously mellowed out the alcohol flavour.
But yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, I also got I didn't actually get it out of this Glen, but I did, which is kind of made me want to change Glens. I got this peanut M&M note there as well, and I'm kind of like, ooh, where did you come from? I'm like, I wasn't expecting you, especially for a Maker's Mark product, so I was like, ooh, okay. It's very odd, but I still got it, still wrote it down for the tasting notes, so I was like, hey, may as well go in there. Now, on to the, I guess the podcast's buy, bar, or pass method. It was a method that I kind of found worked well for me, because I'm like, you know, it's the best way for me to describe it to you guys, especially for the Australian American market, to tell you guys whether I think you should buy or not buy a bottle because of my flavour profiles that I like. So if you guys like what I like, I guess definitely try and play along. If you want to sample it, let me know. Now, we'll start at the top. For the price. Now, try not to bring the price into it as much as I can, but at $60 a bottle, at 47%, we're just short of 100 proof there. It smashes it out of the park. There's only a few bottles that are up around that proof, and at like a decent age statement, especially for products we're seeing now that are kind of like dropping in age because of like the the demand for products, and like they just can't supply enough, so undersupply. Yeah, so that's that. Now, next one up is a great entry-level weeder. Obviously, you're in Australia, we pay $75 to $80 for our green label, well, a special reserve, and that's still at 80. This is why I keep these things close so I can look. No, I don't know where it is. I do have my 12 year though. That is. Oh, I lost that. Okay. I lost Crotchy. Crotchy can get back there though. There we go. No, he's gone. Yeah, okay, I can't find it. But I think it's like anywhere between 80 proof, 90 proof. I don't know, one of the two. But it's still like slightly cheaper than that. I'm sure you guys would argue with that with me, but yeah, like good kind of entry level to jump in at. And for my third little note there, it's very reminiscent of Scotch. So for me, being a non-Scotch drinker, I'd probably serve it up to my Scotch mates that come over. I know one of my guys that I've gone, hey, try this 46, and he's like, I like that. I normally drink like Speyside or Highlands or I don't know, Scotch stuff. Don't ask me. But he normally drinks that sort of stuff, and he's like, I actually like this. This is rather enjoyable. I'm like, cool. I'll push that way. For everyone else, yeah. But I'm gonna mark it down as a buy. So yeah, I guess $60. You want to burn $60 at absolute most. You don't like it, and burn it out with Coke, or I just say throw it in with some solo like I did in my first video. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys will enjoy my little post-production work that I'll do on this. I'll spend the next few days. But yeah, thank you guys. Love y'all so much. It's good to be back in Australia too, by the way, because I'm sure you guys will ask how the trip was. The trip was amazing, but I'm sure there'll be another video. Thank you. Love y'all. Stay thirsty. Happy Whiskey Wednesday. I'm Jez. Peace.
I'm currently in the studio editing this out, the radio's on in the background, and I've left this little clip on the very back end of this episode just for you guys, so keep watching, it gets funnier.
But since all the 46s are blended, are they blended? Because I think they're single barrel. Stand by. Fun fact, actually. That stuff right there, this bad boy, is actually a sister company of Jim Beam. Yes, there you go. That's a fun fact of the day.
All Maker's Mark is small batch.
Ah, okay. So it isn't single barrel, but it's not telling us whether it's blended or not. Because this is small batch, as in they're only making a couple at a time, because they'll do the run of, they're not constantly running.
So their definition, this is Maker's Mark definition.
Okay.
A bourbon that is produced or distilled in small quantities of approximately 1,000 gallons or less, which is about 20 barrels, from a mash bill of around 200 bushels of grain.
Yeah. Okay. So it is, by the sound of things, it is blended, because it's blended between the barrels of this, but it's not single barrel. Like single barrel as in you're getting one bottle of single barrel. It has come from one 205 litre barrel, compared to blended, which is made up of different components of 3 barrels. But yeah, I guess that's the first episode of Whiskefy TV, comparing these two delicious bottles of gold deliciousness. I'm gonna save you two bad boys for later, because anyway, thank you for watching, and yeah, just stay tuned for the next episode of Whiskefy TV. Thanks, guys.